How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff. This is our Monday through Friday UAP news channel. Thanks for joining us here as always. If you're brand new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get the word out to as many people as possible. We're trying to talk about this stuff. The more people that join, the more people ask questions, and we start trying to make some kind of thing happen, man. That's what we're trying to do over here. Well, people that are trying to get things done, seems like it's not going to happen. It seems like politics has reared its ugly head inside of this so-called bipartisan topic. That was one of the most attractive things about this thing when this hearing was happening back last year. And there were so many people from both sides of the aisle talking about it. You could look on one side, you see Burchett, Republican. You see Moskowitz, Democrat. You look over, you see a Democrat and Garcia. You look over, you see a Republican in Luna, Gates, AOC, Schumer, Rounds. The list goes on and on and on. And it seemed like we were getting a bipartisan type of thing. Well, we covered it the other day. The Schumer Rounds bill that went in on in December and was gutted, and it was gutted by a lot of people say Republican and Mike Turner and some other people too. But last week, 2 weeks ago, Garcia put together this whole document, pages upon pages upon pages, about this particular UAP amendment that would happen. And it was super hopeful with all the stuff in there that if it's like, oh my God, if this stuff gets past the language inside of this, game over. Well, something started to smell the other day when Tim Burchett started talking about it. He's like, I don't think it's going to pass. It's Democrat that's doing it. I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? In the same way that if a Republican said, or a Democrat said, the Republicans are doing that, it's like, this is not about this. You knew it was going to get politicized. You knew it. So check this out. This came down the pike yesterday. Here it is. So this is a tweet from Dean Johnson, is a congressional UFO update. And the update is, it now appears that the U.S. House of Representatives Rules Committee turns the thumbs down on the UAP amendments. It now appears that no UAP related amendment will be voted on by the House of Representatives during consideration for the FY 2025 National Defense Authorization Act on the House floor later this week. The House Rules Committee has not yet issued its official list of the amendments that will be in order for the floor consideration, but my Capitol Hill sources indicate that none of the 4 UAP related amendments that have been submitted to the Rules Committee, along with 1348 amendments dealing with other subjects, are destined to be made in order for floor votes. The non approved amendment is included number 75, submitted by Robert Garcia. This amendment was based on the Schumer-Rounds UAP Disclosure Act, a measure that has passed the Senate in July 2023, but was subsequently gutted in the conference in late 2023, mostly due to Pentagon opposition. The other 3 UAP related amendments that apparently will not make the House Rule Committee is also listed here. Robert Garcia's 2 bills, Burchett's. And during an opening hearing today, no House member appeared before the Rules Committee to plea for any of the UAP amendments to be made in order. Rejection by the House Rules Committee will have no direct effect on the possibility of some version of the UAP Disclosure Act be included in the Senate's forthcoming version of the NDAA. The Senate Armed Services Committee will be voting on amendments to its version of the NDAA in closed-door meetings on June 13th and 14th. If a version of the UAPDA is included with the version of the NDAA that passes the Senate, then the UAPDA will again be issued to resolve in a House Senate Conference Committee, as was the case in 2023. So they talk a little bit more about that. And then there was this follow-up tweet by Robert Garcia. Congressman Robert Garcia says, my 3 UAP amendments to the National Defense Authorization Act have been blocked from being considered by House Republican leadership. We must continue to fight for transparency and take seriously national security concerns and the public interest. We will continue pushing. I mean, I hate to say I told you so, but I mean, who thought that was going to pass? They're not going to work together. This is why I get bummed with this kind of stuff, because no matter how much they hold hands and kumbaya in front of everybody, and when Grush and everybody's out there, they all have their agendas. They all have their agendas. They don't want one person to be in front of it this election year. It all stinks, and it's the same. It doesn't matter what it is. It just is. Your leaders have once again failed you. Why? Because at least put this stuff into play. I had a conversation today with a friend I do sponsorship stuff with too, and completely part of the stigma, with UAPs is like, I don't want to do anything with the UAP stuff. That stuff that's too out there for me, and this and that and that. And it's like, but have you paid attention to anything what's actually going on with the government side of it? This part of it. I'm not talking about lizard people and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that everyone should know about. This is the kind of stuff that everyone should be like, well, why aren't they even? Why don't they pass this thing and let's get to the bottom of it. Tell me it's nothing. Tell me it's gas bombs and whatever the hell it is. Put it in, if there's nothing out there, why don't they just pass these amendments? It is just frustrating beyond belief. But I'm going to bring in Pavel to talk about this also and see what he's thinking. What's up, Pavel? How you doing?
How you doing, man? All good?
Yeah, man. So yeah, this is are you I know we talked about this last week, but this is like me telling you, hey, guess what? You know, Game of Thrones had someone die on the show last night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's like it gets to a point of like why, and it's more frustrating because of the politics that's involved in this. It's like what are we doing here? We're playing House of Cards? Why are we doing that? I was like, aren't we trying to isn't everybody trying to actually, so now you've gone and you've proven to me, like you do with everything else, that oh yeah, everybody's on the same page. We're fighting for you guys. No, you're not. You're fighting for your agenda like you do for everything else, and this is complete and utter nonsense.
Maybe some of them do it for the cameras,
Maybe.
to for the constituents. But it does make a little sense talking about the upcoming elections and who's in power right now, the Democrats. They're the ones who allegedly have the green light or red light to talk about this. And I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me. We were calling it. There's still a little hope because the Senate still has their votings to complete, and I'm guessing that some kind of UAPDA is gonna pass. I don't know if it'll be with all the previous stuff that was gutted, but I'm sure something is gonna pass. But I don't know
Yeah.
how it's gonna be.
Yeah, you know as well as I do. We sat down, cameras off. You and I are talking. We're going. "Yeah, here's what's going to happen. The DOD is going to get involved somehow. They're going to Arrow's going to get involved somehow. They're going to go. Yeah, that's fine. In the same way they put that document out. Like if anybody asks for FOIA stuff, don't release it right away. Let us see it. Okay, you can send that. Don't send that. You can send that. Don't send that. Oh yeah, our hearing. This is who we want at the hearing. Make sure that person. Yeah, Gillibrand, you do that. And then, oh yeah, what part of the bill are they going to do? Yeah, that's fine if they pass that. Yeah, they can pass that. No, 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 no. Don't get Rounds in there and tell them stop that. Do that. Tell them no, 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 no. So come on, it's the same thing. It's like
Yep.
yes, I'm beyond frustrated at this point, and it's like this doesn't mean stop talking about it. This doesn't mean oh hands up, it's over. But it's like come on, they're not even they're not even they're pretending that they're playing for us. They're not. They're playing for the same side that they've always been playing for. Republicans are playing for Republicans. Democrats are playing for Democrats. They don't give a flying f about this real thing unless it benefits them. That's all this is.
Politics.
That's all it is. It's pure. They have made when they've trying to like saying how this was supposed to be the biggest bipartisan issue. They've just made it that and more so. They should all be fighting on the same side here. We're in the
Yep.
beginning of it. They were all calling each other buddies and doing this, and now it's become a thing because they see that it can. Like you said it brilliantly, that it's just like they know that if they can get the people on their side, so we're the ones that are doing it. We're the ones. So it's us, and like that's it's just dirty now. And it's like, come on, it's like what? And now even the thing that you sent me, I guess they're looking to try to make the questions come out at the presidential debate about whether or not they're going to actually ask questions about the UAP. They won't. They're not going to ask any questions about UAP, and if they do, they'll probably have the same kind of you know Christie type of answer where Trump will be like, oh, someone told me something. If I could tell you guys what I know, but I can't. And Biden will, he's going to say the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Schumer's working on some stuff, and we have a lot to go. They're not going to give any real answers. I mean, so you
This
can,
stuff about the questions, though, I hope I'm wrong, but it feels kind of similar to the New York City gathering that was UFO. Like, how many people were there? Like 15 people at the end,
Oh, right,
like a march.
right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, yeah. So Pavel's referencing that they had done this whole thing that was supposed to happen in New York, and it seemed like it was going to be a big rally, and there was like 8 people that showed up, like with
yeah.
Domino's pizza or something, and it was
I
like
hope
so.
I'm wrong though, but it does feel kind of similar to that.
Yeah, same. It's like, we did that story yesterday where Sheehan's talking about the plan for disclosure and how they, how this could work. And it's like it's like they're beefing you up and getting you all excited about what could come. And it is exciting when you really dive into what it could be. But then you get stuff like this, and you're like, they're just gonna step on each other's feet the way that they always do. And then, everybody else, DOD and AARO is gonna let them pick each other apart. Because that's
Let's analyze this a little bit because I want to do some parallels if you're okay with it.
yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
do you recall what prompted the hearings with David Grush? It was in an interview. It wasn't
Right,
in the government. It didn't come
right,
from there.
right.
So my guess is that no matter what the legislators do, something like that has to happen in order to push legislators to actually do something. So in your UAP Tuesday show with Mark, you
Mhm.
talked about this documentary, and I spoke to you a little bit in private, but I can say
Yeah.
what I told you is that according to what I'm told, this documentary is not James Fox's documentary.
Mhm.
What Graves and Fravor were talking about on the Merch podcast.
Right.
This is a different one, and the person that I spoke to told me that it's gonna be like the biggest news of the year when that drops, and they all apparently know about it. So
Okay.
yeah,
It's
let's
I hope
wait and
so.
see.
I hope so. I mean, I hope so, but it's like, I was excited when they said, look at these amendments that like if this goes through, they can actually band together and get this to pass. I mean, come on. And then they're like, no, because our side isn't doing it. So we're gonna do that, and then these people are blocking it. It's beyond frustrating. It's beyond
Yeah,
frustrating. So when you have like there's a documentary that so and so is going to say this, or they're going to have this type of footage, I can't I can't do the whole, oh really? Well, when's it coming out? I have to do like, let me see it, because
yeah,
you're getting to this point where like I still feel it is so important to be able, like, even as frustrated as I am, like I know that there are some people who got so frustrated they don't want to cover it anymore. They don't want to talk about it anymore. I think that's the opposite point of view of what I want to take, is that I think that more people should know about this type of stuff, where it's like, the same thing where I say in every show about the mainstream media, where, well, you got the Republicans and Democrats that can't see eye to eye. They'll do all these news shows, whether it's Fox, whether it's CNN, whatever it is. They always do these news shows where they'll cover the topic of the day, and then they have 8 talking heads there going back and forth on the topic, and they go, well, this is the possibility. This is ripe for that. It's like, you've got, this is what the bill was. This is what he proposed. Hey, what do you think about it? I think this is out of control. I can't believe that they're even going in front of Congress to do this. This is unbelievable. Why would they bring up UAP stuff from the doubter? No, if you really look into it, there's something going on, but none of those conversations. So that's why it's important here for us to talk about. I'll get frustrated. I'm going to continue to get more frustrated with this, because this is going to keep happening, and it's going to keep happening with that silly, this hearing, dude, that's going to come out, this new hearing, when you're Gillibrand. The people they're going to put on this thing it's going to be like, people are like, oh yeah, no, Arrow's right, nothing here. Here's the people that you don't even that never even heard of before speaking out for Arrow. They're not going to call any Grush's witnesses. It's just going to be one of those. It's going to be a farce. So as much as a public hearing is needed, it's got to be a public hearing that is actually a bipartisan thing, that they want to work together. And this isn't hopeful that that's going to happen.
yeah. Um, I feel you, man, completely. To be honest with you, I never really had hopes that it would pass. I am on your lane that I believe this is perhaps the only way in which the masses are going to pay attention. So I agree with you. We have to stay on top of it and keep pushing for it. I think it's a responsibility that people who are doing this half. And but yeah, I feel your frustration. I just went into this knowing that the
Yeah,
government is a mess, dude. I
it's a
mean,
mess. It's an
it's
absolute
so-
mess.
and it's every government in the world. It's not
Yeah.
just the
But
US, you know.
it's the fact that you get this kind of false sense of hope where it's like, whoa, they're actually because it's so toxic and disgusting for everything that the both of them do with every other thing. And like, I couldn't believe it. Nobody was fighting at those hearings, nothing. It was like, whoa. And then it's like, yeah, of course. It's, Burchett set it up the other day when he was starts bringing politics into it. And he's been such a good voice on this thing, but that was so disappointing in the what he was saying with Laszlo. It's like, dude, stop doing that. That's I can I want I could have predicted that, and I don't want to predict that in the same way that they're going to start turning it against the Republicans, and the Republicans are going to turn against the Democrats. It's going to become a political thing. It's disgusting. But Pavel, thanks for joining me on the show, brother. I appreciate it.
Take care, man.
Thanks to Pavel. Make sure you check out his podcast. By the way, the link's in the description there. He does some great stuff. Yeah, I am frustrated on this one, and you might say the same thing Pavel said, and which is totally fair. Which is like, well, what did you expect? I expected more. I was kind of hoping, but I understand that everybody else is kind of like just expects it at this point. But thanks for joining me here today on the show. As I say, I'll be here tomorrow covering the stories, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, trying to get to 50,000 subs. We are about 26 at the moment. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the flip side.